Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2024 Ford Maverick. This is the XLT with the Tremor off-road package. Huge shout out to Mooresville Ford for providing this capable small size truck for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This Maverick is finished off in Azure Gray Metallic. MSRP is just over $37,000. Now this is powered by the 2-liter EcoBoost inline 4-cylinder. It's paired to the 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 250 horsepower, 277 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this just shy of 3,900 pound pickup from 0 to 60 in 7.4 seconds. It has a top speed of 110 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 16.5 gallons. You'll expect to see around 20 miles per gallon in the city, 24 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 121.1 inches. Its overall length is 199.7. It has a width of 72.6, a height of 68.7, and with the Tremor off-road package, you get an additional 1-inch lift. So ground clearance is increased from 8.6 inches to 9.6 inches. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, the Tremor also provides us with all of the Tremor orange. So you'll notice those accents throughout the entire exterior. It's surrounding both sides of the Ford logo. So it's integrated into the grille, and then it wraps around the turn signals on both sides, where this also has LEDs for all the lighting up front. And you'll notice that the headlights also wrap around that entire trim accent. So they're very nicely integrated. Now there's also a lot of cutouts along with the active grille shutters to help provide additional cooling and airflow. And then you'll notice more of the orange accents for the tow hooks up front, and then additional cutouts in that lower section. There's also a really neat trim accent on both sides of these hood bulges, and it kind of fades away as it gets to the lower section of the hood there. So a really neat accent to see for that. Now, as we work our way to the side, this does have a tuned suspension for that additional lift. This also has 29-inch tires. They have the orange and gray for the anodized finish, which have a great look to it. There's also the XLT badge finished off in orange. There's gloss black for the side mirrors, as well as the roof channels on both sides, so that way you could put roof racks up top if needed. And then you'll notice more of that trim accent in the lower section of the door. So again, it fades away as it gets to the back there. There's also some plastic for that lower side skirt area. And then with the Maverick, you do have one continuous vehicle here. So you don't have the cab and the bed. You have more of that unibody design with that one solid connection there. You'll notice Tremor is also on the side of the bed side there. And then as we work our way to the back, there's the LED taillights. There's also the backup camera, along with Maverick stamped in the lower section of that tailgate. Tremor is on that one side. With the optional towing package, the Maverick can tow up to around 4,000 pounds, which is pretty impressive for this smaller size vehicle. It also has a payload capacity of 1,500 pounds. And then you'll notice that the license plate is over on the one side there. And then as we work our way to the tailgate, something really neat with this. This does have the multi-flex tailgate. So as you can see right now, we have the tailgate at the halfway mark. This is actually going to line up with the wheel wells too. So if you want to put something in, let's say a sheet of plywood, it's going to rest on the top of the tailgate here and be level with both wheel wells. So that way you can put in some larger items. So as you can tell, I moved it from its lower position to the highest position here. If I lift up on the tailgate, I can simply just release this by pushing that out of the way and then locking it back into its normal position. So now we have the flat tailgate, as you would see. I think more pickup trucks should have that option, so really neat to see, making this more versatile. Now you'll notice there's a cargo light as well as a 12-volt. There's plenty of tie downs and then even more storage on this one side, and you do have this QR code you can scan for the flex bed. You're going to be able to look at a lot of different accessories and options for the bed. So just depending on the items that you're putting in, if this is a first-time pickup truck for you, Ford is going to help you out with the accessories that you need. Now, as we work our way to the interior, we have a pretty simple door panel. You'll notice though that there's a gap between the grab handle and this drink holder. So that way you can put in taller drinks if needed. You have a little more storage in front of that there. And then as we work our way to the interior, you'll notice the orange carries its way to the stitching here with the two-tone design for the cloth. Now with the back seat of this pickup truck, you can also release this tab right here. You can do it on both sides and then lift up and lock the entire bottom up. Check out how much storage you get underneath these seats. You have a massive tray there, so that way you have a more usable back area. Now at 5'10", this is pretty much like hopping into an SUV, so it's really not all that tall. And at my height, I have plenty of room. There's some auxiliaries. I have plenty of room for my feet and legs there with the front seat set at my height. And then take a look at this. I have about 2, maybe 2.5 inches of headroom. So you can be taller than me and fit in the back. For a small vehicle like this, it's almost bigger than a mid-sized truck, which is very impressive for its size. Now you have the armrest with cup holders, a fixed rear glass, and then there's also speakers at the top of these seat belts there on that pillar, which is very nice. Now, as we work our way up front, you'll notice that the door panel is just like the rear. However, there's lock and unlock. There's also the side mirror adjustments. You have your window controls. There's one speaker, and then a lot more storage in that lower section. And then you do get a power operating front seat with Tremor right in the middle, more of the orange accents, which is nice. And then as we hop in, again, you have to step up and over this door sill and then down, so it's not all that tall. With the Maverick, you do get the turn key. So there's no push button. We have the key that flips out. We can insert it over on this right side and then bring it to life. Now we have the solid leather steering wheel. On this right side, you have menu along with these arrows here, so that way you can go through the gauge cluster. Now you'll notice it has a combination of a digital screen and then analog gauges for the tach and miles per hour. Now if I use the scrolling dial, we can go through all this information and pull all of this up, just depending on what you'd like to see. If I push on menu now, we can go through all of this in a little bit different of a view. We can even go into the settings here. There's your trailer sway control. You have a few other settings that you can get into, as well as your display setup, so you can configure that. Not a ton of information, but it is helpful on a daily basis here. And then over on this left side, there's volume as well as cruise control settings, and then you have your tuning and Bluetooth on the right side. Now on the left side of the steering wheel, there's the bed light. There's also the headlight adjustments, a dimmer switch, a really neat trim accent surrounding the air vent. Would be cool to maybe see that orange just to match. There's a little bit of storage up top, and then we have this smaller screen here with a cubby on this right side. Now, just to talk about the 25-year model Maverick, it is going to have a much larger screen than this one here. So this is the last year with this smaller screen. In the lower section, you have all of these presets. It's a very simple screen, but you can at least pair your phone to it, get into some of these apps, and then you have your music too. Underneath that, there's power and tuning. You can also shut that upper screen off if you would like to. You have more tuning adjustments, volume, engine start, stop. There's 2 air vents underneath that, and then you have your fan speed as well as temperature. You'll notice that adjust on the upper screen as well. You have where you'd like the air to go, heated seats, heated steering wheel, and then some other defrosters. You have some auxiliaries down below. There's also a lot of storage where you can place additional items. There's 2 cup holders and then more storage surrounding that. Now, as we work our way to this rotary dial, simply twist it clockwise to put it into reverse. So you have that backup camera. You can go all the way into drive. There's a low range gear, and then park is back to the left. There's the e-brake behind that. And then you'll notice all of these controls down below where there's a 4-wheel drive lock. There's also a locking rear diff. There's this button here for the auto hold. And then you do have a trail control setting that you can go into. It's basically like cruise control for off-road. If you push on this button right here, this is for traction control, and then you do have this Tremor button right here. When you push on that, that's how you get through the different driving modes. So you can just push on that button there to pull these up, and then if you continue to push on it, you can go into trailer and haul mode. You have slippery, mud and ruts. There's also sand. You have a normal mode, and then we're back to tow and haul. And then in the middle, you have a lot more space in the center armrest there. And then the glove box has plenty of room. Up top, you just have your rear view mirror. You get a sunglass holder up top, and then you have the dome lights as well. And then here's a look at visibility. There is a lot of glass, so it is very easy to see in both directions here, even over that left side as well. As we set up now behind the wheel for the Ford Maverick, I think Ford is doing a really good job at bringing this smaller size truck to the market. It's a vehicle that is something that's going to be really good in the city, but it's also going to give you the practicality of a pickup truck. If you have some irregular items that you just can't fit in an SUV, maybe you don't want a trailer or anything like that, you just want one vehicle, maybe your parking is limited, you have a pickup truck here that's very maneuverable and very functional. It's also something that's going to give you a lot of space. I'm very impressed with how Ford was able to package this sizing. As you can tell in the front seat here at 5'10", I have well over half a foot of headroom. So you could be much taller than me and fit in this truck. That's something that you can't really say on a lot of the mid-sized trucks. I feel like this even has more headroom than the Ford Ranger, which is just interesting to see. So it's a very spacious, smaller truck, and one that's also going to be very good on fuel economy. So again, if you're looking for a well-rounded vehicle, maybe you're putting bicycles in the back, maybe you have dirt bikes, four-wheeler, lawnmower, anything, power washing equipment, something like that, you have a practical, smaller truck to drive. Now, this isn't the first Maverick that I've been behind the wheel of, so I have had experience with this as far as just driving it. It's a super comfortable vehicle. It drives kind of like a crossover SUV. It doesn't have that truck drive to it, which nowadays a lot of pickup trucks almost have a luxury drive to them. But even with the lift kit that this has, it's very nice. This is something that just would be a great daily driver. So let's slow down a little bit. We'll give it a small acceleration. And as we get up to speed, it's not bad. It's not a quick vehicle. It's not trying to be. It's not loud either, which is nice. But I feel like it has an adequate amount of power to get up and move and to get out of its way. And when I talk about vehicles that don't have a high horsepower and torque figure, I like to talk about their get up and go, because that is something that is a safety element, something that, you know, if you have to get out of the way or something or merge, we have a decent amount of power in order to do that. It's a great smaller size truck. We had a Maverick for a week. We were able to fit 2 dirt bikes in the back of it. It is a little bit tight, so just keep that in mind. It's a small truck, so you don't have even a mid-sized truck bed. It's almost the same length, but it's not quite as wide. So it's gonna be a little bit tricky if you have items like that, but it is doable for larger items. And so let's give it another acceleration. And we're up to speed. It doesn't seem to struggle or anything. So again, for its smaller size, I think it has a good amount of power. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the Ford Maverick. With the XLT and then the Tremor package, you have quite a lot. Now it's more of a basic vehicle, you know, for its pricing. These start just under $30,000. So we have one that's getting closer to $40,000, fully loaded with the package and everything like that. It's a pretty simple vehicle, you know, turnkey, not a whole lot in the screen. So if you're just looking for a basic vehicle, not everyone wants all the fancy tech, bells and whistles, things like that. It's what you would expect, and it gives you your creature comforts so that you can drive this. And then, like I mentioned earlier, it's a really comfortable ride. So if you're looking for just a smooth vehicle, something that's really easy to maneuver as well, with its smaller size, it feels like a crossover SUV. It's going to be a little bit longer, but as far as like the seating position goes and your visibility, it's basically like a smaller size vehicle, like one we have coming through the intersection here. So it gives you that vibe. If you're not looking for a big truck, you don't want to be intimidated by the size, maybe you have to parallel park, things like that. It's just going to be a little bit better of what I'll say a city pickup truck. If you're doing a lot of errands, running around, things like that, and you don't need a larger vehicle, it's going to fit in a lot more garage spaces, things like that. I can see the appeal to it. Now that we have the 1-inch lift, you could take it off the pavement. You have some of the off-roading capabilities, not maybe the most off-road focused compared to like a Bronco or some taller pickup trucks, you know, that will have a lot more ground clearance. But it's something that if you have to take it, maybe hunting, that's why you want to use the bed, put some items in the back. You have the capabilities to at least take it off the pavement and do activities like that. As far as the turning radius goes, like I said, we don't even have to back up. That's pretty impressive. Most larger pickup trucks, I would have had to back up and reset. So it's a good size. It offers a lot for the money and for the package. That's going to wrap it up for the 2024 Ford Maverick with the Tremor off-road package. Once again, huge shout out to Mooresville Ford for providing this vehicle for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads, and I will see you all in the next video.